Okay, so we're talking about chaos today. How many of you guys have ever been in a job interview and the interviewer turns around and asks you, so why'd you cut your dick off? Show hands. Show hands. Nobody? That's all right, because as far as I know, there's only two people in this world who have ever had to go through that. There's me, and then there's the guy who actually cut his dick off. This is Andre Johnson, aka Christ Bearer of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees. My name is Marcus Andre Johnson, aka Andre Roxx, formerly of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees. Now, one day Andre Johnson lost his mind, cut his penis off, and jumped out of a window in a suicide attempt. TMZ, in their haste to report the story, confused Andre Johnson with Marcus Andre Johnson. Now, you can be a lot of things in hip-hop. You can be a thug, you can be a gangster, you can be a murderer. But our masculinity is 90% of our public persona, so one thing you can't be is the dickless rapper. I couldn't get promoters to touch me with a 10-foot pole. And when the show stopped, in case you guys don't know, the money stops. And I know you guys are like, oh, poor baby, he's gotta get a 9 to 5 like the rest of us, right? Well, nowadays, when you go on a job interview, they Google you. And when you Googled me, for the first 10 pages, it said I cut my dick off. So, how many callbacks you think I got? Seriously, I got 7 months behind on my rent. My lights, my water were cut off. I had to do break jobs just to make enough money to eat for the day. And when there were no break jobs to be done, I starved. I lost 21 pounds during this time. On top of that, I couldn't leave my house because literally, crowds would form. People would want to grab at they'd want to grab at me and they'd want to pull down my pants to see if it was still there. But the worst thing about all of this is that ever since I was 7 years old, hip-hop was the one way that I knew that a black man's voice could be heard in America. And I used that voice to tell my story and tell the story of my people who also had no voice. That was my purpose in life. And because I couldn't get any promoters to touch me, they took that away from me. So I had no purpose. I was starving. I was suicidal. And as I'm walking around in this suicidal fog, I saw an ad for a radio station that was looking for radio hosts. And I went down to the radio station, and I didn't want to go through the whole process of being Googled and them rejecting me again. So I walked into the station manager's office, and I swear to God, the first words he heard come out of my mouth were, "I didn't cut my dick off." Now, after we got a good laugh, he said, "So what do you want to talk about on your radio show?" And I hadn't even thought about it. I said, "I don't know, but I promise I'll keep your listeners entertained." And he said, "Fine, be here at 8:30. 8:30, I leaned into the microphone. I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of The Chamber. I am your host, Andre Roxx. I represent the mighty, mighty Wu-Tang Killer Bees." And I began to talk. I talked about all of the things that I talk about in my music. I talked about the prison industrial complex. I talked about police brutality, and people started to listen. By the end of my show, 12,000 people were listening in on my show. And I realized in that moment, hip-hop was never my calling. It was a tool that I had to master in order to achieve my calling. But my calling was to be the voice of the voiceless. And it took me being ostracized. It took me being cast out. It took me almost starving and being suicidal for me to realize that I had confused the tool with the calling. Now, I've been the campaign manager for a congressional campaign. I host 2 radio shows, one of which is internationally syndicated. I write for a magazine. Hell, I'm giving a TED Talk. 5 years ago, I didn't know how to do any of that because I was so comfortable where I was at that I couldn't see where I could go. So my message to everyone out here today is never get comfortable where you're at, because you'll never see what you could do if you're happy where you are now. Again, I say never get comfortable. Oh, one more thing. The beautiful thing about all of this is I still have my dick. Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm out.